We'll turn our attention to Brother Jeff Jackson of the Beverly, and he will develop an intriguing theme. His theme is sex.
Good morning. I'm Elder Jackson. You'll be sleeping shortly. God's word is gay, and when I find that I'm real, well, that homosexuality comes through. But mainly I'm focusing on who did what to whom, what did whom to what, and what the lesson is, and whom the lesson is. The first question, what do we mean? So that was the first question. The third question, what did who to whom? So that was the final interesting question.
Hey everyone, my name is Jake, former Jehovah's Witness, current bisexual, pride haver. Thank you for joining us. This is a live show called Sunday Service that I do every Sunday, and me and a bunch of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in the chat hang out. You don't have to be an ex-witness to hang out. We'll explain the pertinent details. But yeah, we like to check in on our old cult leaders, see what kind of weird videos they're making, and dig for spiritual cringe. So thank you so much for joining. While we're getting started here, I think that was a fire in the house. I don't know what that could have possibly been. Happy Pride to everyone. And usually right up top is where I ramble for a little bit about my personal issues before getting into the subject. And right now I'm trying to upload a couple little bumpers I made for the stream, for little segments I like to do, if you could call them segments. So today we're going to get into more convention stuff. The way we do it is you just kind of vibe check. If it's boring, skip and move on. But there's some stuff that I think is really interesting and worth dissecting that we'll get to. I also, let's get into the personal issues. Well, people are filtering in, filling the pews, which, as a Jehovah's Witness, I was glad that we didn't call just the chairs pews. I understand it's a different thing, but I just don't like the word pew. It makes me think of something being stinky. That leads me to the subject at hand. No, not really. I really hit like a massive wall of burnout this week. Last month I was releasing at least a video a week, but sometimes twice a week, and I released a bunch of shorts and stuff, and I was really trying to maintain that momentum, and I just started having a bunch of panic attacks, because I'm, usually the videos don't bother me, making videos and stuff. The approach I take is more chill and silly. Some would say chilly, but I think that gives the wrong impression, so I wish they wouldn't. But I'm also working on this novel about, it's a horror book set within Jehovah's Witnesses, not a cult, and I think, just the cumulative effect of working on nothing but this sort of triggering book for months, and also doing all this witnessy stuff, I had to just hard cut off a bunch of stuff, and so I haven't, also just the entire state of the world. The scariest Pride Month that I've been a part of is being out, just in terms of whatever the next year's version is going to be like. So anyway, I've taken just this weekend off, except for this video that I released a rough draft to my patrons a week or so ago, but it's done now. I'm probably just going to release it as its own video tomorrow, but it's really funny. This Jeffrey Jackson thing that I played at the intro was just 30 seconds or a minute or so of a larger edit. So I figured I'll play it now because it's kind of Pride themed if you listen closely at the end. And this is what I generally do when I'm triggered, but I still want to make something. Oh shit, why is it muted? And why am I still here?
We'll turn our attention to Brother Jeff Jackson of the Beverly, and he will develop an intriguing theme. His theme is sex.
Good morning. I'm Elder Jackson. You'll be sleeping shortly. God's word is gay. And when I find that I'm real, well, that homosexuality comes through. But mainly I'm focusing on who did what to whom, what did whom to what, and what the lesson is, and whom the lesson is. The first question, what do we mean? So that was the first question. The third question, what did who to whom? So that was the final interesting question. But there are some other questions that come up. Why does he have this hat on his head? Good question. Brother Jackson's the principle of the hat. That means Brother Jackson will get this hat. Well, let me take it off. The third question. I understand global warming, but is it really the case that just one abortion will literally kill the whole earth? What's the answer? Yes. And think about it. 6 new babies are born each day. However, 350,000 babies get killed by Jehovah as a punishment for blood transfusions. Is that fair? Yes. Elder Jackson is really gay, but not Harry. An example of that is with certain shocking, extreme pornography. I have on videotape without showing you photos. A friend of mine asked me to record my wife and I. And as we read this, think about the context of what we're talking about. But now I no longer have untouched regions, and for many years I have longed to come. Now I'm literally gay, but don't say that. Whatever you do, don't say that. You see, I became emotionally involved with a young man and a very large Japanese brother. But as a foreigner, I didn't really understand the subtleties between Jewish farmers and the old Japanese man who sits on the side of the road. Very few governing body people get the opportunity to have our people touched with great zeal and enthusiasm. So I asked the brothers, how could Elder Jackson get a very large erection? Took a blow at this man. We wept after in 69. Maybe your hand's a little tired from bizarre, provocative, passion. Oh, I really like this. This is just nice. At that point, I come into his butthole. Oh no. The old man promptly ran and I chased him for 2 blocks. I would have beat him up. I would have killed one of the men and wounded the other. We're not going to mention names. However, the gay old man had a little bit of a punishment coming to him. I hope he dies. If he dies, I hope that idiot gets pillaged and killed by Jesus. This is just the result of something that has gone on secretly for a long time. The governing body has directed me to ask the English-speaking brothers this Chinese question. Have you ever experienced that shock, that disappointment of hearing music? It reflects the colors of my skin or whatever. Well, if we've experienced that, perhaps we feel a little bit like an elephant in a battle in the middle of Jerusalem. But you see, gay people really like stars. Do Valley for us doing agriculture stir up within us feelings of gay pride. Now, isn't that interesting? Were you amazed? But there's just one thing missing. You guessed it, a transgender caterpillar.
Hey! I just want to, I'm a little happy with this Stardew Valley edit that I did. As soon as he talked about agriculture, this is what I'm saying! Every queer person I know loves Stardew Valley. Thank you. I was pretty happy with how this turned out.
One thing missing. You guessed it.
Oh, wait, yeah. I wanted to hear the Stardew Valley.
Battle in the middle of Jerusalem. But you see, gay people really like stars. Do Valley for us doing agriculture stir up within us feelings of gay pride.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm going to have to mute the mic because the dog is barking. I have no idea what's happening. Someone is like, I have to leave. Oh my god. So apparently just a little girl just walked into our house because the door was unlocked. Yeah, I just could hear that Christina was like, "Oh, you got the wrong house." And I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is happening?" Okay. All right. See, this is what I'm saying. That was divine intervention. Okay, well this is the most actually for once it wasn't technical difficulty. This was just honest to god life difficulties that happened. That how strange. Okay.
That was absurd.
Or how to read their own address apparently.
Well, she was like not even 5 years old.
I'm sure I know who it is, like which
Yes.
neighbor kid. Weird. Okay. Well, this is just part of the excitement of a live show. We have an open door policy, much like Comedy Bang Bang. Hey, your family's at the convention and you have the house to yourself for a few hours. Oh boy. Well, I don't know if this is necessarily what you want to be doing with your time, but if you want to watch people dunk on the convention, let's do that.
This afternoon.
Oh yeah, well just one capper on this stupid edit. I just kind of picked away at for a long time, and like, I don't know. I've just accepted that I've got some divergence neurologically speaking. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm really excited about the video that I'm working on. It's really funny, and it includes many supercuts and edits. If you liked that, whatchamacallit, that like deep dive I did on the shit, what the fuck is it called? Just JW Broadcasting in general, like the JW Broadcasting recipe. It's sort of like that, but it is about this Gilead graduation, which has a talk that a lot of like extra Jehovah's Witnesses are talking about. There's a lot of really culty stuff in it, but I wanted to do my nitpicky things first before I got into the deep stuff. And you know, it's for reasons such as that I am creating little things like the nitpick corner.
Why is it necessary to be so picky, to be so fussy?
And then sometimes people know that we like to play a little game called That's Not What's Happening. So I figured I should probably have that ready to go for streams as well.
That is not what is happening. That is not what is happening.
I like that guy's little toe kick that he does. Okay. So what we did last week, I think, was all of Saturday. We just are kind of brushing through. And so we're going to do that. We talked about a little bit of this a couple weeks ago. With Scott, we talked about this bizarre introduction where they talk about the, or they depict the Great Tribulation in a way. So if you haven't seen that, it's a couple weeks ago on the stream. If you've watched my notice montage, this is a real frequent offender here. But let's look at whatever videos he's got in store for us. His talk is not particularly interesting other than the sheer amount of times he says the word notice. And it's a little weird to just see guys with beards on stage. If you're new to the XJW scene, welcome to the least cool or known about club in town. We've got a little video here. Well, he'll tell us what we should notice, so I guess we should hear his little wind-up.
Of harmful gossip with the positive effects of the kingdom good news. In the following video, notice how one congregation imitated Jesus when Jehovah's Witnesses were the target of harmful gossip.
Yes.
Let's watch.
Can I tell you something on the note of Banjo-Kazooie? I want to download just the sound files for Kazooie and Tooie because I think that Stephen Lett sounds like Banjo. Like, whoop. He kind of has... He has Goofy. He's giving Banjo. The question is, who's the Kazooie of the group? I think it's got to be Jeffrey Winder. Regal!
I received a phone call that a sister had passed away while giving birth.
That was grunty.
When people in the area heard that our sister had died, they got angry.
My
They
bad. Somebody
assumed that
died.
our sister had died because of having refused a blood transfusion.
Oh no! Fucking hell. Okay, so one of the things that set off my little spiral of anxiety was some news that I would like to cover in a video, but maybe we'll just get into it after this clip, because apparently it's going to deal with blood. If people who've been on the channel know, the blood issue is personally triggering to me. And like, honestly, anymore, shunning, just by virtue of talking about it so much, I feel like I've built up some calluses to it. But the blood issue is just so, I just fucking hate it. So if I get a little angry, I need a new bumper
One congregation imitated
Jake's angry
Jesus
corner.
when Jehovah's Witnesses were the target of harmful gossip. Let's watch.
Oh, the target of harmful gossip. Okay, that's good. Good context.
I received a phone call that a sister had passed away while giving birth. When people in the area heard that our sister had died, they got angry. They assumed that our sister had died because of having refused a blood transfusion. On the day
Why
of
would
the
they assume
burial,
such a crazy thing?
there was a difficult situation. Some family members did not want Jehovah's Witnesses to carry out the funeral ceremony. They just took the coffin away and headed to the cemetery without giving us a chance to deliver the talk. As soon as possible, we came up with an alternative plan since we saw the need for encouragement. We decided to go to the Kingdom Hall to have the talk there, which made it possible for the brothers and sisters.
What? What even is... Okay, so they, first of all, they didn't deny that the sister died because of refusing a blood transfusion. He's just saying people assumed that was the case, and it was complicated. But anyway, the important thing is that the family blamed us. And here's the thing. If she died because she refused a blood transfusion, then what? That's what you're supposed to do. So why are they wishy-washy about it? Like, why not just own it? Yeah, they never confront the accusation. Who was saying that? Yeah, 100%. They didn't want you to give the talk because your religion killed her. Yeah, 100,000%. That's exactly why. I would do the same thing. And let me guess. Ignore the valid criticisms that the community had for the blood doctrine. Yeah. Oh, they get to that in a moment? Okay.
To be strengthened by the Kingdom Hope.
Making the classic
The
streamer
news
mistake.
of what happened on this day spread like wildfire. We were nervous when we thought of going out in the ministry, so we had to...
Yeah, this is... The whole thing is a little odd. They're like, wow, the family came and took the casket away, so we decided, we had this crazy idea to do it at the Kingdom Hall. I was like, wait, what? Why didn't you do it there to begin with? Because that's what... I mean, witness funerals in my area were always at a Kingdom Hall. Even if they had a... Like, usually people will have a viewing, if that's their wishes. They'll have a viewing at the actual funeral parlor, but they still give the talk at the Kingdom Hall, so I don't know. But they're saying that they were afraid to go in the ministry. Yeah, exactly. They always want to say, well, yeah, they refused blood, but also you can't ever really know that it was because of that. That's what they like to say. That probably they said that she didn't die because she refused blood, but because of the doctor's incompetence. Oh, wow. Well,
rely on Jehovah to go and preach to the same people who had reacted aggressively at the funeral. Without a doubt, Jehovah and his spirit helped us, and we were able to preach to these people.
What did that look like? What was the process by which you determined that it was spirit helping you and not the sunk cost fallacy?
We were also relieved when the medical officials explained why our sister died.
Oh,
That it was not because she refused the blood transfusion.
fucking
That
smoking.
really was an answer to our prayers.
Why was that an answer to your prayers? Why would that be an answer to your prayers if you think that that's what you're supposed to do? If you think that you're supposed to refuse a blood transfusion, even if it means your life, then why would that not be in harmony with your prayers for that to happen? These people are fucking cowards.
At first, the husband of the deceased sister was the only witness in his family. But eventually, after all of this
The
took
diseased
place,
sister. Fuck her name and her memory, right? Just she's the diseased sister who died.
2 of his relatives became Jehovah's Witnesses. Another interesting fact is that 2 chiefs who were present at the funeral attended the memorial.
An interesting
The wrong
fact.
view some people had toward us changed, thanks to the power of the good news and the peaceable attitude of our brothers.
Why did their attitude change? The policy didn't change. Just because, like, sure, I will accept that the doctors came to them and said, actually, it had nothing to do with the blood transfusion. We just suck. Sure, that probably happened. Well, let's say that happened. That doesn't mean that nobody else dies in childbirth due to refusing blood, or for a million other reasons. So I don't understand what they're even fucking thinking making a video like this. Oh, it was such an answer to our prayers to find out that the thing we say you should do didn't actually happen.
Sisters.
That's what it is. It's just, like, they don't fucking care. They don't care about your life. They don't care who you are.
Wasn't that a wonderful example?
And there's the white kid whose parents lived, but the kid died. They got a whole talk about what the kid's name was. Not this person. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, so the reason why I was upset earlier this week is, and I'm not going to get into it because that was enough for me, but you can, if you go on the Extra W subreddit, if you follow or look at like Larchwood's post or Ron Pomo, they've both posted about this. I'm sure Avoid JW has it as well. This new document that is specifically for parents whose children have a chronic illness. So, you know, like my parents, if I was still a little kid, an 8-year-old diagnosed with Crohn's disease, this would be what they receive. And it's like, yeah, it's all about how to trick doctors into not giving you blood and why it's fine and all that, little strategies you can use. And the other thing is, like, this week on the meeting, I'm pretty sure it was this week on the meeting, but Larchwood posted like a side-by-side of this meeting workbook that said, like, never compromise your faith when it comes to medical decisions. So, I don't know. Lock them up. Let's all chant lock them up. Okay, let's see what this bullshit is here. Hopefully this isn't about blood. Also, let me know if we watched this last time. I don't think we did, but these streams are kind of ephemeral, and I do tend to forget the specifics of, like, which clips we've watched. If she actually died because of refusing blood, the whole tone and message of this talk would have been different. She would be a martyr. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. And it also, they did say that only one of the family members was a witness, so they probably didn't have the consent of anybody in her family to, like, use her likeness in a video. Assuming they care about that kind of thing. And I would, given their constant legal finagling, I assume that they do.
And he wants, yes, you and I to have a very close relationship with them. Now, in the following video, notice how one sister has learned from her past mistakes and moved ahead in Jehovah's service.
She got over her past mistakes. And yes, please do remind me if you've watched this. This guy looks like his beard is just so perfect, perfectly sculpted. It looks like he's a Jehovah's Witness in a Bible drama from the late 90s, and there's just, like, spirit gum affixing a fake beard to his face.
The feeling of guilt is so heavy.
Right. Not that much respect.
Can I ever be part of Jehovah's organization and feel good? Can I feel clean? And because the guilt made me feel like I wasn't. I would.
Why? Why would you feel so guilty? Were you raised to feel ashamed and guilty of things? To the detriment of the rest of your life?
Pray to Jehovah and just plead with him.
Young Rachel Dratch. Actually,
I
yes.
would journal how I was feeling.
I see it here.
And then I would do the personal study. And when I was having a bad day, a real down day, I would look and see, oh yeah, this is how Jehovah feels.
Oh yeah, that's how Jehovah feels.
I felt a change in me when I studied about the ransom. Jesus died for everyone, even people who don't serve him. Then he died for me too.
But like, only in the sense that you're no longer required by the Torah to sacrifice animals to the gods, like for every sin that you make. I just don't. I think I would need to understand from a Christian. I mean, it's an incoherent concept in my opinion. I know Christians don't like it when I get all atheisty, but I just find this to be a completely incoherent concept, this idea that Jesus died for your sins, but which is why you have to constantly apologize and pray for forgiveness and all this stuff. Like, well, did he die for your sins or not? And also, I don't know if you can just choose that you die for something as you're dying. That's fair.
Feeling guilty can make you want to isolate, but I knew that was dangerous.
I'm going to go in ahead and assume that this lady just, like, had sex or got caught smoking something, like, or had a public display of drunkenness more than once. What if she did murder people,
There's
though?
no encouragement from anyone. Reaching out and associating with the brothers and sisters
Incredibly
really helped me
based.
not be so self-consumed. When I was able to comment again at meetings, I started out small by saying like one word.
Yeah. The meetings are, like, they're already boring, but you make yourself think that it's like eating your vegetables when you're a witness, and then you realize, oh no, this is actually just like drinking Epicac or something. It's actually not good for you. Or I guess Epicac can at least make your dog throw up if they eat chocolate. If movies are anything to judge by.
Word answers, and then maybe a longer answer or using the
Brutal.
scripture. It gave me something
Brutal
to be
fashion
proud of.
police report from Chad.
Going in the ministry really helped me because I was talking about the wonderful hope of the future that Jehovah gives, and it was building my faith along with helping others. When you help others, it makes you happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I look back from where I was, feeling so guilty, to where I am now.
Yeah, very, very good catch. She got privately reproved, which usually means it's not a serious sin, or you're related to an elder and they're kind of giving you a free pass. That means that there's an announcement at the meeting, and they say, Sister so-and-so has been reproved. Wait, no, that's a public reproval. So a public reproval is they make an announcement. A private reproval is they tell you that you're reproved in private, and they take away certain privileges. That was a full hand air quote. That's how big the air quotes around privileges were, as I had to go full Happy Hands Club on you. So she's not allowed to comment for a few months. I don't even know if there's more to it when you're a woman in the organization.
No
if you're
commenting and no parts.
No parts on the meeting, Christina says. Yeah, because it's the same for the fellas. Can't comment, can't give no parts. But there's also weird things if you're a dude, like you can't pray publicly, like for a meeting for service, because your prayer won't work. God's like, you're doing like when you have poison damage in an RPG, or like you have gloom effects in Tears of the Kingdom, and like your heart is like weaker, so like your prayers are eroded. They don't pass through if you're reproved. So somebody else has to pray for you to make sure the Holy Spirit system is running. That was a perfect way of describing that. 100%.
I really see the wisdom in Jehovah and his discipline.
It really
And
hasn't
it
been
makes
for
me
a
feel
while.
proud. I'm very happy.
This comes up sometimes in the publications, it's a little like modern publications. I know I've talked about this on a stream before, or maybe just back when I had Twitter, but it used to be, and Crisis of Conscience talked about this quite a bit. I can't show you my copy because it's what's holding up my microphone right now. Sorry, Ray Franz. But the governing body went back and forth for a long time about whether things like oral and anal sex were appropriate even within marriage. And now they don't say that publicly. They haven't written anything publicly to that effect in a long time. But the last copy of the correspondence guidelines that we have, which is what the governing body provides to the branch to give them suggestions of how to answer questions. So if you're a witness and you write the branch because you have a question about something, oral sex, as of like 2011, the answer was still that like, ooh, technically no. I didn't grow up with this really. Like, I remember my mom telling me that it was forbidden, and I was like, what? And then I couldn't find anything on the Watchtower Library CD-ROM. And I thought that was dumb, and socially it seemed like nobody my age bought into that teaching, you know? So I think it's a bit more cultural at this point, whether or not anybody tells you that. Tax evasion. That would be amazing if that's what she was privately reproved for. That's how they got Al Capone. Oh. This guy. I just know his fucking talk's gonna be boring. So let's skip it. Let's just get to his cool video. Oh. Maybe it's about prawn. Oh, no. We remarked a couple weeks ago, they show another TV screen during this Great Tribulation bit, and they show, like, the stock market's down negative 20,550. The stock market is down, if this is what this is portraying. Like, at some points, like, this company went down by 20,586%. That's pretty brutal.
When you watch the news, you see
brother
I didn't even know that percentage existed.
especially at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, and also as the war in Ukraine started.
Yes.
I watched a great deal of news reports.
And
whether
no
on
other
TV,
examples.
The computer, on my smartphone.
I looked at the computer.
When you watch the news, you see many pictures that simply haunt you. I noticed that this was not good for me.
It was stirring up this desire to do something about it, which in our religion is unacceptable. The only thing you're allowed to do is preach the importance of becoming a Jehovah's Witness, so you can all not fight for anything together.
And it bothered me more and more. Besides, it was too time-consuming. After a while, you begin to realize that you are somehow consumed by your thoughts. I realized that it was not simply information that I was processing, but my feelings were stirred. And how...
Oh, no, not your feelings! That's the devil's part of your brain. This stuff really annoys me. I talk sometimes on the channel about how cults weaponize good advice. A lot of awake magazines present themselves as just sort of being normie health advice about anxiety. And, you know, frankly, watching your level of news consumption isn't a bad thing. I've heard secular sources talk about this. There's only so informed you can be on something, right? Like, once you learn the information about a thing, if you're constantly just watching more and more stuff, you're kind of re-traumatizing yourself over and over. That's definitely something that I do. Like, that's another tendency I have that can lend itself to anxiety. Is I am a news junkie, and there's no shortage of things to be existentially terrified by right now. I remember when I was in the hospital for blood loss, fatal blood loss. Well, the first time, it was like during the George Floyd protests for the George Floyd murder. Like, I went into the hospital and it started to get backed up because there was a protest going on downtown and people were being brought into the trauma center, probably because of certain police people that we could mention. And so I was laying there like a PMO, needing a blood transfusion, maybe. And also, it was COVID times. And also, there were, mass protests and uprisings against injustice. And honestly, I just remember thinking, boy, I must really not believe this if this is not convincing me that Armageddon's coming. Like, well, maybe Armageddon's coming, but it's not the JW Armageddon.
So easily you can lose focus. You don't notice it straight away.
That's the thing.
But I realized that for me, it was simply too much news. The only solution
is this a real thing
was
that happened,
to be
Jane?
occupied with Jehovah's news. The news which is good for me, Jehovah's promises. What really helped me was to focus on strengthening my trust in Jehovah and concentrating more on the preaching work. It brought me closer to Jehovah and gave me inner peace and calm.
Inner peace.
Many people
Great. What a great, necessary video. I was watching the news and getting sad. And so what I did was stopped it. I stopped watching the news and instead focused on fake fucking bullshit. Sorry. Usually my commentary is a little bit more incisive than that. Maybe not. I'm just like exhausted. I'm just like, this is so... It's so blatantly manipulative. Because, like, what the fuck are you talking about? The COVID pandemic and the war in Ukraine, what's happening in Gaza right now... there's a million things that could be stressful. And one thing that I think has been really nice to see that I was heartened by it through the 2020s, like during COVID and the George Floyd stuff, and now the Gaza massacre that's happening, is that you do see a lot of people coming together and being like, you know what, we're going to stand up and do something about this and make our voices heard. And that's cool. Like, COVID was a time when a lot of people had to come together during an unprecedented time and do something. And I think there's always, like, two sides to that. But to me, like, because I don't put my hope in a heavenly kingdom, humans are all we've got. So I think, like, you have to reach a place where you can consume the news and not just be terribly depressed by it and see things like, well, look at all the people who are outraged and trying to do something about it. Look at all the people who are actually in positions of power who don't agree with the establishment and want to push things in a better direction. Like, it doesn't have to be so doomery. It's not like the world is hopeless and miserable. I mean, Pride Month is a testament to that. When I remember being at a convention when, what would this have been? I don't remember the year. Was it 2010 when gay marriage was legalized in Ohio? But it happened, like, during the convention, and they mentioned it at one of the, I think the Sunday Talk, and I remember, like, the front page of the Columbus Dispatch and everything. It really was not that long ago that gay people legitimately had no rights at all. And even, like, Obama, when he was running for president, couldn't say that he supported it because it was that unpopular. And it's still because of activists, because of gay activists and pushing people, they're able to gain rights. Like, the arc of history bends towards justice, that sort of thing. I don't know why I'm talking about this other than I'm dreading getting back to this video.
Future
Sorry for the
SJW,
SJW rant.
However, it does us so much good to help others.
I need to make another bumper for that with William Malenfant being like, social justice movements are satanic and bad.
Understand that their future depends on something completely different. That is Jehovah's kingdom.
Yeah.
And as
that's
a result,
good point.
A wonderful future awaits them.
Shoiler Black says, knowledge control is essential in a cult. While we need balance in media consumption, they conflate the anxiety as then I should avoid. Yeah, exactly. Like, also, No, I think you're right. I'm just going to yes and your point. When you get hooked on something and knowing about something, you start learning more and being like, okay, but then why does that happen? Like, that started to happen to me, like a lot of people in 2016. Like, I didn't really pay that much attention to politics for a long time. I always probably paid more attention than I should, but I was very interested in, like, the run-up to the 2016 elections. I probably started following politics in, like, 2014, 2015. And, like, I was still a witness. I knew that I wasn't allowed to vote or I wasn't supposed to have political opinions, but it just makes you ask questions like, okay, but then why, like, how is this happening? And then you read some articles and you start learning about systemic problems, and then all of a sudden, like, it can lead you down a rabbit hole where you realize that maybe evangelical Christianity is the cause of a lot of the problems that we have in the United States. Maybe this extreme deference towards fundamental religious belief is bad, actually. I don't know. Maybe
First of all,
you think that.
he reduced the time he spent watching the news. That was our first point. Limit our exposure to the bad news.
This guy's accent's so
Secondly,
great.
he increased his study habits and focused on
One part decrease news. One part increase Bible. Ooh, okay. So this guy has my favorite introduction to a talk. I posted it as a short just because for some reason I busted out laughing at my computer when I saw this.
Have you ever performed a task or a job, and then in the end...
I don't know why that's funny. It's just every JW Talk intro is, have you ever performed a task or a job? Well, Jehovah has a job for us. Notice with me in 1 Peter chapter 3, that's 1 Peter. Every time.
And you looked at that task or job and felt, I could have done better.
Hell yeah.
But what if after doing that task and you stood there and found different ways that it could have went better, someone came up to you without having been prompted to do so,
like a Jehovah's Witness?
Everything that was good about that project. How do you think you would feel?
I was so distracted by how slow this was. Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory? I got to make a conspiracy corner thing. That actually comes up in the video that I'm editing, and another thing that comes up is I give a little impromptu fake Jehovah's Witness talk. What was he even saying? Okay, so my conspiracy theory is that it's not like they have it written in some document, some dark tome where all the pages are made of human skin or something, but like I think that this slow manner of speaking, which is been emphasized by certain awkward silence supercuts, is like it induces this sort of hypnosis where like you can't really pay attention for too long. Like it's impossible to follow a train of thought because they pause for so long in between each little section of their sentence. Have you ever used the bathroom? Have you ever read a book? Okay, I want to hear what this task is. There was some impromptu reaction to the task.
It went better. Someone came up to you without having been prompted to do so, and they told you everything that was good about that project. How do you think you would feel? Good? Of course you would feel good.
Fuck this. Fuck this intro. I hate this shit. I hate this. No offense to this guy. If he wakes up, he can come on the channel and we'll have a good laugh. But this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Have you ever, like, here's a normal way to tell that story. Have you ever worked on, like, a theocratic construction project, or you've been cleaning the Kingdom Hall, and you put a little extra effort into it, and somebody comes up to you and tells you what a good job you did? That feels great, right? When just being told that you did a good job. Well, how does it feel when somebody says, like, that's how you say it as a normal person. But he's like, have you ever performed a task, doesn't matter what kind, Matters not also whether this task was a job or merely a leisure activity, pursuit of a hobbyist or contraptionaire, and after completing this anonymous task, another fellow comes by and says unprompted, "Good job on said task." How would you feel? Well, of course, you would feel good. Like, this could only have been written by a psychopath.
Why will you feel good? Well, because
food.
you have been encouraged. Someone noticed that you did something right. Friends, don't we feel better when we are encouraged? Matter of fact,
It's my fault for bringing up electoral politics. I'm gonna fast forward this because okay, never mind. I thought that this was a video that we watched, and I have not seen this at all, so I don't even know what this is gonna be.
benefited when a fellow believer took the initiative to offer encouragement.
Yes.
Full of life, full of energy.
Angelo,
He
you
loved
nailed it.
people. My husband became ill, and I needed a little more help family-wise, so we decided to move to Texas. We were actually ready to leave.
Would not recommend anyone do that.
To pull out. He noticed something that he needed to check with the vehicle that he was driving, and he was under the truck. He jumped and started to roll. I jumped out of the car and ran around, and he wasn't breathing. And
What? This is how you know my stress level's a little higher. I have been so good about not smoking on stream. But it's happening. And it's a little rude, and I'm sorry. But technically, it is my house. And my stream, quite frankly. Okay, I was a little distracted. I was still thinking about that task and what it might be.
we were actually ready to leave. We were ready to pull.
To do what? Why?
My husband was full of life, full of energy, and he loved people. My husband became ill, and I needed a little more help family-wise, so we decided to move to Texas. We were actually ready to leave.
That's not an
We
explanation.
were ready to pull out. He noticed something that he needed to check with the vehicle that he was driving, and he was under the truck. He jumped and started to roll. I jumped out of the car and ran around, and he wasn't breathing, and it immediately killed him.
What?
And everything was...
What? Why? I mean, not to be insensitive, but tasks do kill. I mean, what the... Why are... Okay. Kids have to watch these videos on the convention. Like, there's a bunch of little kids that are there, just like, with a Caleb and Sophia coloring book, and then they're like, my husband was killed by a car that he was driving. Which is hard to do.
Just in shambles. We had no landing spot because everything was packed on our truck. Well, a sister came and asked us to stay with her. On the morning of the funeral, I dreaded thinking about what else we were to do for the rest of that day when she brought us into...
Okay, we don't need to listen to this fucking sob story. Good face. I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot of this right here, just so I've got it for my personal use, by which I mean making a better thumbnail later. Yeah. Boy, I hate the sad talks about death. I mean, obviously, probably that didn't need to be said.
Eagerness. Well, there could be a lot of factors, but isn't it true that many times it tends to be related to our attitude or our expectations? Well, more about that later. But, Jehovah wants us to be eager about something. To find out what that is...
Wow, what is it? What's he want us to be eager about? Is it doing something fun, like going to a party? Or is it doing something boring and laborious, like free shit, free hard backbreaking? God, my dyslexia is so bad. I had a legendarily bad one in this video that I'm editing. Okay, so this is something I do plan on making a video on later down the line. I've got some of it scripted. Here's the issue that I have now is like during Try Month, I tried to resolve an issue that I had, which is that I had so many scripts that I just never turned into videos. And I still have a lot of scripts that I haven't turned into videos because I just write for fun, and so it's just easier for me to. It's less time consuming than filming it and editing it. And then sometimes you write a script and realize, like, I don't know if this is actually worth making a video out of, whatever. And so I'm doing one about this series of videos. This is sort of this year's, like, Jade and Nita series, where there's a recurring set of characters and we're following their arc. And this is an incredibly sexually attractive couple. I think we watched one bit of their journey a couple weeks ago with Scott Jones, but we're gonna watch probably all of them because we're like 3/4 of the way through this. Sunday PM part 1, or Saturday PM part 1, I mean.
That the angels are backing their...
Okay, so the context of this is important. The angels are backing their work. So let's see what we're supposed to notice. Hey, thank you, I appreciate it. Stick around. I'm thinking about... I tried to do a reading a couple weeks ago from the short story I had written that inspired Not a Call. I think I'm going to read from Not a Call. I filmed something more in depth for my patrons, but I need to get back in the swing of things. And I'm in an ominous, dark mood. Maybe it'll be good to read it. All right, let's nobody forget to notice.
Of the type of response we receive, it really helps us with our expectations. We have an expectation of good. Even so,
my bad for keeping that poll up there for so long.
It doesn't mean that this work is always easy. In fact, maybe that's one of the main reasons that Jesus assured us in that verse we quoted, that he would be with us to help us until the conclusion of the system of things. But we have help even beyond that given to us by Jesus. Our closing talk in yesterday's program.
A couple people are noting that his tie is totally jacked up. It is like he just did a shitty job.
About Revelation 14, 6, and 7, where we come to appreciate that the angels assist us by leading us to those who want to hear.
How could he actually go and do this great badness?
Here. Now, maybe that's something like a metal detector. Have you ever seen people using those on the beach? You wonder what they're looking for? Well, some years ago, a Florida man uncovered a 385-year-old gold chalice valued at over $1 million.
So my dad was a much better speaker than this guy. And I'm not bringing that up apropos of nothing, because he also used a metal detector thing in his talk, like an illustration parable, if you will. But he gave a story about a friend of his that did it. It was really weird. I was talking about this with Christina because there's a character in the book based on this guy, this old guy who I just loved and had a lot of positive memories with. And I wanted to have an old guy like this in the book. And he had a metal detector and would go to the beach and look for shit. I don't know what he was doing. He was a weird guy. All he ever did was read history books and go camping and look for buried treasure. He's a hero. He's an American hero and possibly a Canadian hero because he might have been from Canada. But, you know, he made it personal. And this guy's just like, you ever fucking notice a metal detector? Yeah, it's like that. It's like a metal detector when you read the Bible.
With a metal detector. Well, there's one thing about metal detectors, though.
Are there any improv podcast fans? Because this guy looks like Mark McConville from the sketch group Super
Either
Ego.
in the ministry or preparing the opportunity. Only then can the angels point us to where we need to start digging. And it's true, we may not find a treasure every single day, but just one human life is worth how much more than any physical treasure?
How much more so? How?
In the following dramatization, notice how a couple who are studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses, armed with this appreciation that the angels are backing their work, are motivated to begin preaching.
Is that like the little carnival game that I did as a kid where you throw like a stick with a cork on the end of it and a magnet and you just get a little magnetized fish? Okay, so the witnesses are armed with the knowledge that the angels are backing their work. Yas Queen. Okay, so this is like a flawless millennial Instagram influencer couple. They have an amazing wedding outside with a million friends. Yeah, I said it like that. I had to show my bisexual wife this couple, and we were kind of thirsty. But I'm gonna be good and professional on this stream. But let's say for the record that this is a weirdly attractive couple. They're doing something interesting. If you haven't picked up on this, these two are not yet Jehovah's Witnesses, and yet they are totally happy and just silly and cute, and they're already married. They had premarital sex, and nothing bad happened to them, presumably. You'll see their house is fucking nice. It's really nice. And this is something that I brought up in that aforementioned JW recipe video, the JW broadcasting recipe, is that all of the actual life experiences of people joining the religion, they have a series on their website called like The Truth Transforms Lives, but generally most broadcasts have an example of somebody's sob story coming into the religion, and it is always somebody who's at rock bottom. They're just sad and depressed and alone and addicted to something because their parents didn't love them. And just when they were about to jump off a cliff, thankfully at the edge of a cliff, two Jehovah's Witnesses had a cart set up there, so they saw a pamphlet at the critical moment. And the little, Christina said, and an angel above the JW thing, which, oh boy, if you missed the angel a couple weeks ago, we might see the angel again. So because this is fictional, this is a fictionalized scenario, they can do the thing that some of us have noticed they suspiciously don't have any examples of, which is people who are happy joining the religion because it's just obviously true.
What are we doing?
He's got like the gauges, or I don't know what you'd call it, not quite a full gauge. Now, okay, so Christina, here's why I showed her this, because she started doing yoga. She loves it. And what is this lady doing? Our prospective convert. She's walking out of a yoga class. Now, you might not know this. Yeah, well, you might not know this, but yoga is spiritistic. It brings the demons in. It opens up your minds to demons. That's what happens with demons. Not self-love, love demons. Christina's narrating a few things she wants me to get across to you here. No, it's good. We need the yoga input. Peace when. And they volunteer at a food bank. So not only are they completely fulfilled in their marriage, they are charitable, they exercise, clearly. Like, look at this fit that he's wearing. With the, like, capri, like, a little... He's rolled the pants above the ankles. Hey, thanks, Queen. I'm stressed. I'm a little stressed. Good. I got jumpy leg.
That's the end of lesson 22. Take a look at this week's goal.
That's the end of lesson 22. So this cart visit was so successful that we are smash cutting 22 weeks ahead. And actually... Let's do this, because this is something that I've kept track of in a couple videos I've done about, like, just the conversion process within the religion. But the book is structured, the Enjoy Life Forever book. This is the book that Jehovah's Witnesses use to bring people into the religion. So I'm going to try and find that book, because it is structured so that you read it one chapter 1 week at a time. So one chapter is 1 week. We can assume that we're like, probably 23 weeks later, minimum. Where the fuck is this book? Enjoy Life. Shouldn't it be so easy to find on their website? Okay. Enjoy Life Forever. You'll see why I want to do this. because the book starts with pretty benign questions like, how can the Bible help you? The Bible gives hope. Who is God? Blah, blah, blah. Lesson 10 is, how can the meetings of Jehovah's Witnesses benefit you? So 10 weeks into your new friendship with this unassuming free home Bible teacher, you're like, hey, also, we want you to join our church, even though we said that that wasn't why we were here. So they're fully past section 1. What will help you to keep studying the Bible? Oh, and there's always like little videos. Like Jehovah helps us to make changes. You know, they're pointing people to interviews and experiences and talks given by the governing body. Oh, holy shit. I've actually not seen this before, which is definitely a bad thing, considering I've talked about this book several times. But they have, maybe it was there before, but it is here now. Before you move on from section 1, which is, I think is sort of designed to be like, all right, are you in or are you not? Because look at the last thing that they have here. Jehovah's Witnesses are sometimes accused of breaking up families. But is that true? And then they link to Jehovah's Witnesses break up families or build them up, which I have a rebuttal to on my website, jwfaq.org. Nice. But anyway, so is it realistic that this couple is interested in this book written for babies, which has absolutely zero substance or style? I don't know. I don't know how realistic that is. Thankfully, it's fictional.
Think of one person.
Oh,
with whom you could...
yes, they're busy, but they're busy in Satan's world. What is the hook for this couple? Why do they need Watchtower? So from what I've seen, they don't explain it. They just don't explain it, but maybe they get to it later.
Share the good news. Think about what to say, how to say it, and when to say it.
Hey, thank you.
Isn't that technically 3 goals?
You'll do great.
Don't make fun
Let's
of our book
close
ever
with a prayer.
Well, Jocelyn
The wife looks
wants me
like
to
Lizzie
do this
Kaplan a little
meditation
bit.
seminar. You guys are into that, right?
Now you know that this guy's bad because he's got the man bun. Look how preposterously nice this kitchen is. It's humongous. It looks a lot like the kitchen from the Wife of Lot drama. Maybe it's the same one. I don't think they had those windows there, though.
Well, we were.
But I'm like, I can't deal with that right now. With everything happening in the world, inflation is killing my business.
Wow.
I just have bigger problems.
How topical.
But what's bigger than inner peace?
Does this guy know the traditional economic markers show that the economy is actually doing quite well?
Payroll.
Your brother is a Neanderthal.
Look, it's not my fault the world's a mess. What do you guys think?
Your brother is also at least bi-curious. That little lick she just did.
What did you say?
You totally froze.
Damn,
it's a big step
bro.
to share what you've learned. It's just for us.
Yeah, like, when does a couple like this ever come into the group? I don't know. Not saying it absolutely 100% never happens. There's a couple like this that came out of our territory, sort of, in the congregation I was in, that was not dissimilar to this. Like, they were both very attractive. He was super buff. I mean, look at this guy's guns. In one of the dramas, we cast the husband as, like, a nerdy character. It was in the What is True Love drama. But he was so ripped that we had to get him a shirt that was, like, 3 sizes too big to just hide his muscles. His wife was beautiful and, like, was a ballerina before she had a foot injury. So, and from the way they tell it or told it to us, they joined because they thought it was true. But I think if you dig deep, there's probably a bit of trauma there. Jenny says, happy people who volunteer, have hobbies, and a fulfilling marriage don't join cults. No one who studies with Jehovah's Witnesses is happy. They're all searching for help. Exactly. This is why this could only ever be a dramatization.
Spirituality's always been, personal.
We've never liked the idea of pushing our beliefs on others. I know we're not pushing.
That's going to be a pretty humongous
We
hurdle
used
for
to
you.
feel the same way.
I didn't think I could ever preach.
Oh, that
didn't
time
even
is
like the
here. That time is here and now. I haven't really known how to tackle this before on the channel, but I kind of want to. I like, this is the exact demographic that they want. Like, there are a lot of people who are predisposed to agreeing with their patriarchal men are the heads and women are the weaker vessels, and there is a divine hierarchy. Like, there's a lot of people out there who are susceptible to that narrative right now, and I mean, I've seen guys leave the Jehovah's Witnesses and go right down this rabbit hole and become total Andrew Tate acolytes, because it's really only one step removed. It's like Watchtower, but you can have premarital sex and the meetings are on Discord.
Preach.
How did you get
instead
over
of
it?
Zoom?
Well, the more we studied, the more we came to realize that when
you missed the
Jesus
opportunity
said,
for a big
"Go and make
sale."
disciples, he was talking to us. It's the work that Jesus gave.
The poor man's philosopher says, we used to feel the same way until we learned it's required to avoid everlasting destruction. Yeah, like... Listen, Jordan Peterson fans are totally... it's not a cult at all. There's no proof of anything that's ever happened except for whatever's coming out of my mouth right now. We have no idea if evolution happened. We have no idea what shape the Earth is. Christina said, why do you sound like Kermit? Because she is not as online as me. That was Jordan Peterson.
Personally.
Sometimes
I wish I lived in a
it
world where I
feels like
didn't know
it's
who
too
that
much
was.
for us.
Well, it is too much for just us. But do you remember
Just
what
Us
Jesus
League.
promised next?
I am with you.
Up yours, woke moralists.
And he knew that sometimes it would be hard.
Hey-o.
But we have some very powerful help. Here's some homework. Take a look at
nice.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 6.
Wow. The angels
And I
will
saw
help
another
you
angel.
talk to your brother about the religion that you're joining. That's what the angels are up to. Now, earlier we learned of a couple, a Jehovah's Witness couple, who were about to go serve where the need was greater or something, and then the guy got hit by a car. Like, just the moving truck, because it wasn't in park. It kept rolling. It rolled over him. So the angels weren't there. They were like, that guy can fucking die. That guy, we don't give a shit. But talking to Top Knot, we can help them with that.
Angel flying amid heaven, and he had everlasting good news to declare to those who dwell on the earth. Notice this neat point in the research guide. It says that God's angels do not preach directly to people.
I'm so glad Blake got us to do this homework. I didn't realize that heaven
Homework.
means overhead. Help is so close.
And there's homework? This religion has to be great.
They're right there with us.
Okay, so this... we watched the final song, which I will not subject people to. But the big finale of the convention is this new song. I don't remember what it's about, but it does show some really wonky CGI angels at a certain point. And they show, like, a real version of this. They show a couple and they CGI in an angel. It's this exact shot. So I don't know why, but also this guy is an incredibly talented artist, by the way. And hey, some Jehovah's Witnesses are talented artists. But actually, I was really bad at perspective, so I couldn't have drawn something this good. I don't like a man bun. I don't like it on other men. I don't want it on me. Thank you, Gene.
Jesus.
90-second pause. Okay. Another drama beard. Another beard that was applied with spirit gum. All right, so now for the next step of our couple's journey. Let's see. How about a mullet? When my hair grows just naturally, it just kind of turns into a mullet. I mean, if you go back and watch a stream from like 2 months ago before I got a haircut, it's borderline. It's a borderline case of party in the front, business in the back. It was a reverse mullet. The back was all like hair gel to come over, and the front was like spiky, crazy. Not weird, we're just knocking on doors for fun.
You sure you have time for that before service?
Almost done.
Who taught you electrical?
Are you sure you have time for that before service? Imagine that being our lives anymore. Oh.
Hit it.
Hit it! Yeah, exactly. This is who they think they're attracting, who they want to attract, they think they can, but just... And I think it's more for the publishers, for the rank and file members, to give them this idea in their head that there are couples out there in the world like this. Kind of granola liberal types who do yoga and volunteer, and they just don't know which religion is right. They know that God exists, obviously. Oh, someone said that they got the earring out. I didn't notice that. I also don't know these characters' names. In the script that I'm writing, it's just like the guy and the wife.
Let there be light.
Amazing. Okay, that guy is a serial killer.
Sorry about today. I know we haven't been out much lately.
I know my
Just our
people.
schedule. We work all week, plus meetings and family worship. And on the weekends,
This guy legitimately has, like, my ideal body. Like, he's a short king, but he's stocky, he's broad-chested. But my arms are so weak. That's why I have to get tattoos. To, like, create an optical illusion to make my arms look more muscular
house
than they
projects. Just kind of take over.
You've got a lot on your plate.
But we know that ministry is important. Jesus gave us this work to do.
Right. But
Right,
do
but
you
aren't you
think there's
fucking
more
it
to our
up,
preaching than
idiot?
just this
Aren't
work
you,
we need to
Are you
do?
making a huge fucking mistake?
It's also how we show love for people.
Good catch.
That's true, too. You know, there's a Bible example that
He might
really
also be
helped.
sucking it in a little bit.
Notice what it says right here.
Now, if this guy had had a
Encourage me
window
to
washing
meditate
emergency,
on how
I would
Paul
buy it.
described his ministry at Romans chapter 15 and verse 16.
You gonna finish those steps? You're stressing me out with your completely unfinished steps that are just like planks from Lowe's. Good. It was really important that they keep that entire long wind up in.
So to Paul, his ministry wasn't just work.
It was the holy work of the good news.
Exactly.
Oh, now I get it. Now I see that we have to be in a cult and do work for free instead of changing a light bulb one time. This guy's eyes are really scary. Am I wrong? Let's... Yeah! Ooh. But yes, it's so annoying, and like, we never had this dynamic, Christina and I. I was never like, I gotta break out the old Bible on you. I'm afraid I gotta. Yeah, Christina said if I did that, we wouldn't be married. I think that's true. I was never comfortable with the headship thing, and she wasn't either. And I think we were just kind of like had a chill conversation about that beforehand, and it wasn't a big deal. I don't know. That's not to say I didn't have to unpack like toxic male shit, because it's in there. It gets in there.
Being prepared.
But we were not a couple where we would drop a verse on each other, just in the fun way. We just rap at each other. Like if somebody forgot to do a chore, we're just like, well, my name is Jacob Kreitz, and I'm here to say you should wash them clothes in a wifely way. I say it every time, and every time she laughs just like that.
disciples. Here's the question. Do you think God hears our prayers? Is that something that you've wondered about?
My screen.
Good morning. We're asking our neighbors a question. Do you think God hears our prayers?
But does God hear our prayers? Have you ever wondered that?
Dumb. Flies, literally flies buzzing around him. They think so little of people. This is how they portray just people, just humans at their door who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. They get the dodo music, flies buzzing around their head, and like a big pee stain running down the front.
Psalm 65:2 answers the question.
Look at his vest. This guy looks like he should be like working at the docks during the Great Depression, like tossing crates into the back of a steamboat or something.
Gotta try something different.
Good call.
A person will be more likely to listen to our message if he senses that we care about him.
Yeah.
Do you think people sense that about us? Or do they just see a guy trying to
they're Canadian.
offer a scripture and hand them something?
Well, this is what I need to work on. Empathize with the person. Try to imagine how he feels. When I'm nervous, I'm thinking more about how I feel, not how they feel.
Wow. How selfish of you. You should fix that. You should fix that about your stupid broken brain.
Me too. I like this part.
We do. That is
Acts of kindness.
That's what makes it work. We make each other laugh. It's true. We're always having a good old time. I guess not always, but that's. But we are. But I don't know. A lot of the time we are.
Can open the door to a conversation. So, it's not so much what we say, but finding a way to show who we are. Maybe we can try that this weekend.
Only 87 likes on this stream, and we've got 193
Just prepare.
watching.
Focus on whoever's behind the
Be a
door.
horrible glitch.
Instead of myself.
I was thinking about family worship too.
He starts talking more like a Nebuchadnezzar beta male the deeper into the religion he gets.
You know, we've always cared about people. We just have to let it show. Let's pray for Jehovah to help us do that.
Let's do a new game show called Canadian
Dear
or
Father,
Jehovah's
Jehovah,
Witness.
Come to you.
Canadian or American Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, they still definitely made, like, they quickly got in line on that one.
Oh, I see you got your hands full.
Yeah, hot water heater.
I feel your
What?
pain. Ours broke last month. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you. Last week, the roof
Thank
next
you.
to furnace.
I had no idea what this guy was saying about his water heater either. And no, this isn't important. And yeah, we do want to move on, but I want to hear this. This is what's important to me. Not like you mean it, by the way.
Good morning. Oh, I see you got your hands full.
Yeah, hot water heater.
I feel your
What?
pain.
Yeah,
Ours broke
no,
last
water
month.
heater.
We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you. Last week, the roof next to furnace.
Our fixer-upper's full
Is
of
he a
surprises
robot?
too.
My name's
The
Aiden.
wider
This is my wife,
you're
Ellie.
okay.
I'm Russ.
Nice to meet you, Russ.
Oh, he
About the
like
hot water heater.
stopped
I found some
buffering.
videos online that saved me hours. I can pull them up.
It's okay, I think I've got this. But thank you. So, what's this all about anyways?
Well,
This is a
let me-
Canadian robot. Like, what is this voice? What is this about? I didn't a water heater.
Bye. And we've been volunteering to share something that's really.
I have a theory. I have a theory as to why they all seem so sad and tired. while I'm plugging that you should like the stream, feel free to leave a super chat too. I want to upgrade to the pro version of my editing software because it has a feature where it automatically generates subtitles for videos. So I'll be able to have better subtitles for my own videos, but it also helps because new videos like this aren't on the like XJW run database that has searchable subtitles of their stuff. Basically it helps make funny edits. It's really useful. So if you want to chip in for that.
Friends, we encourage you, please, as you have been, remain eager to declare the good news. Our symposium is reminded of several ways that can help us to do that. Did you catch the 3 different ways?
Did you catch it? It's easy to miss. We talk a little fast and we don't come back and reiterate stuff. Ooh, these people are happy on a bridge.
Every year, thousands of people accept the good news and transform their lives for the better. This is possible because Jehovah blesses the efforts of millions of kingdom publishers around the world.
Oh. Source?
People like America. And Paulo. They face challenging territories.
You know, white people.
Fierce persecution. And their own physical limitations.
It better not be me. I'll delete this channel.
Nothing can hold back the good news. It keeps on increasing and bearing fruit. Even in those who couldn't be further from Jehovah.
Wow.
Just like I was.
Such as streamers, people who do yoga.
Growing up, I wasn't
and people
really
who play
religious.
Stardew Valley.
What interested me more was getting rich.
Wow.
In Africa, especially Ghana, many people are poor.
My uncle was a missionary in Cameroon, and I think he's still in Ghana. So maybe we'll see him.
Saw people leaving my community to work overseas, and after coming back, they had an amazing life.
Oh, damn.
Like they had everything.
The guy who baptized me got his fellowship.
Whenever I saw those kinds of people, I would just stare at them.
Who's
I think,
foreshadowing?
wow.
Hey, thanks, Austin, for the super chat. JW sitcoms are officially in the uncanny valley. Oh, yeah, 100%. It really feels like stuff that's made with that new AI software.
If that were
we can
me,
just like make a movie based on some prompts.
Africa, especially Ghana, many people are poor. I saw people leaving my community to work overseas, and after coming back, they had an amazing life. Like they had everything.
That's not according to Watchtower.
Whenever I saw those kinds of people, I would just stare at them. I think, wow.
Wow.
If that were me, coming back home, I would be super happy. The truth is, I really began to envy them. I wanted to get a house, build my own house.
So this is dubbed, right? I probably missed it, but I'm like, is this so out of sync or is it dubbed? And I think it's just dubbed.
My own car. I wanted other people to look up to me and see that I was somebody important. I was completely selfish. I was greedy because I was only thinking about myself and how to get rich.
Well, greed is what drives injustice. In Italy,
Ramrod,
around,
what?
The end of the 60s and the
Story
early
time.
70s, crime and corruption were...
Do you remember, Christina brought this up. I don't... What were we watching where somebody was baptized? Oh, it might have been Immaculate, actually. Which, holy shit, I did finish Immaculate. 10 out of 10, great horror movie. It's so good. But there's a baptism scene, and Christina's like, oh, look, they didn't have to hold the person's feet underwater. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. If, like, in Witness Land, when you get baptized, they're very insistent on that matter of it being a full body immersion, submarine, nautical exploration. So they, but they're like really, really insistent on it. It's not just symbolically you have to be fully immersed in water. It's, you have to, if your toes poke up for a second, they'll be like, we have to do it again. It didn't take. We're going to have to, like, you were moving during that picture. You blinked. So we got to do another one. It's really weird. Like, what is this protocol in heaven where they're like, actually, Jehovah, we can't approve this baptism. Their feet popped up. And God's like, all right, well then just give them a Holy Spirit minus the like surface area of their feet because they weren't that part of their body wasn't baptized
at all levels. So naturally,
a person like that might run quickly to
protests
wickedness
against the abuse of power.
Ooh.
I was a young man at the time. I had a very strong sense of justice.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So when I found out that Jehovah...
You know what's crazy is thinking back, people would say stuff like this in the ministry. QC Man 2000 says for sure Lancer, but I'd bet they prey on poor people to convert. And yeah, like I remember going to poorer territories and hearing like, oh, the householders here, so much more humility. Not like those people in the hoity-toity parts of towns. It's like, yeah, more desperate. they need some quick answers to some complicated problems.
An administration that would eliminate all injustice.
Oh.
It gave me real peace. It was one of the things that helped me to...
This seems like it's going to be boring, actually. Should we skip this? I don't know.
The brothers often spoke to me about Jehovah's love. But what drew me to Jehovah the most was his justice.
Jehovah the Mova?
That was at first, but of course later on. I also learned other wonderful aspects of his personality. I was baptized, and it was really a great blessing to meet my wife, Paola.
It was really a great blessing to meet my wife. That sounds like a fairy tale, hearing him tell it. Okay. I'm going to do another poll. I'll say that probably both options will happen eventually. It's just like, how bored are we by this?
We always
sometimes I can't gauge
that we wanted to spend our life.
That's the thing is I can't speed it up. I forgot to speed it up in the video editor.
Together in the preaching.
But I think it's safe to say that this video is a dud. I want to get back to this guy's story. Being rich.
When I started my journey to Europe, I was around 19 years old. That was when I crossed the desert. After some time traveling, our driver told us the car's out of fuel. We were frightened because we were in the middle of the desert. We didn't know our way forward or our way back.
Okay, I don't know. I don't think we're really getting a lot out of this. I don't... You had to learn to be less interested in money. Oh. I don't think we heard this lady's story, right? Whoa!
I wasn't baptized then, but I could see with my own eyes exactly what Jesus had foretold, that his people would be persecuted. During a meeting, a religious group broke in and started to beat the brothers and sisters furiously.
It's not a bad idea. Maybe not for this one. But, okay, I'm going to actually star this instead of this.
They lit a fire and burned the literature in front of us.
Well, yeah, that sounds obviously bad. Maybe talk about some things that aren't quite so obviously bad. Oh my god, how many people do they talk to? This is like a short-form documentary that they made. Wow, okay, that, what an absolute pile of shit that was. Okay, let me pull up the next little bit of it. A little bit of cinnamon. Okay, so Chronicles of Lucy. The keep digging coal thing is the subject of like the next video I'm working on. So All right. So I don't really want to get into it now because like I've already recorded and edited my takes on it, and I would just be repeating myself from the past and future because I haven't released the video yet. Okay, so let me pull up the next bit of the Saturday convention. We want number 8.
At Luke chapter 6, verse 38, Jesus instructed his listeners to practice.
Wait. Okay, no, this is definitely different.
Please don't.
Yes, somebody explained it in chat, the whole thing. Basically, it's Edward Algen gives this talk, and the lesson of the talk is like, we're just all on a steamship, and we might question what direction the ship is going. We might think we know better than the captain, but we can only see what we're doing, so shut up and shovel the coal. He doesn't say shut up, but he does say shovel the coal. All right.
Highlights the importance of us and gives us the direction.
Preaching the good news is just such a boring topic. Because how many times can you say Jesus wants us to preach, so we should preach, and we should keep preaching until the end comes? Like, okay, we get it. I don't know if you can fill 4 hours of the day with such material. Ah, yes. Let us now see their beautiful baptism. I haven't
How
seen
a
this.
sister uses guidance from the brochure, Love People, Make Disciples, to show interest in someone and to start a conversation.
It's about the whole Gilead graduation, but the bulk of the video is about that talk. I'm picking up on that. Is there any chance that Watchtower themselves composed this music? It has to be stock music, right? Good God, what a bougie neighborhood.
Well, the angels know we showed up.
No one?
Nope.
Damn.
You?
No. I wish we could keep going. We have a bunch to do this afternoon.
Us too. But I'll keep my eyes open, and I'll try to start a conversation wherever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great compromise. So if you're a witness, by the way, like if you're not familiar, you're not just supposed to be preaching during the time where you're literally dressed up and knocking on doors. So you're supposed to always be looking for opportunities to preach. So she's like, well, okay, we'll stop at the door-to-door stuff, but I'm going to keep my eyes open all day to preach to somebody. Because that's a good way to live your life. Every person is a potential customer.
Be observant, be patient, wait for the right opportunity.
Oh, wow. No adult could figure out something like that on their
adaptable.
own.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So you'll get
This guy ran out of shirts.
Well, I try to find the parts for the shower.
Really slow. You know how often you see a lonely, sad person on a park bench? You're right. She's... Was that a fart? I think it was supposed to be a record scratch, but... Why would they do that? Why would they choose that sound? It sounds like a fart. It sounds like when you get up from a leather couch and it kind of squeaks.
So I'm supposed to stay home all day waiting for you to get back? So that's my fault.
Ah, the person... Okay, so this is really giving into the JW fantasy. So here's what witnesses say. It's like, the carts are important and informal witnessing is important because everybody that you see out in the world, they're not at home right now. So if a witness is knocking on their door, they're not going to be there. So that's why you gotta talk to them outside the home. And this is a lady who we saw leave her home right as they were about to knock on it or something. So this just lends itself to this fantasy that the angels, they really are in charge. They are trying to lead you to this lady. But the angels were they didn't do a good enough job to get you there on time. Or maybe you messed it up. But you got there eventually. Trust the process.
Oh yeah, I'm out here meeting men. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, 1000%.
Oh, miss, your phone.
Have you tried selling
hello.
to your friends? To your friends?
I've seen your laugh bad. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. He's just making friends, aren't you, senor? Oh, are you okay?
This is a meet cute.
Men. You wouldn't know it, but I handle fluff better.
Well, men and dogs are different despite what you hear.
This failed the Bechdel test.
I'm Ellie.
Elba.
My husband and I moved here
Ellie
a
and
couple years ago.
Elba.
You?
Great.
Same. We moved for Robert's job.
What did he do?
He's a supervisor.
With the little pinpoint transition. Great. Flawless masterpiece video, 10 out of 10. The lesson was, if Ellie hadn't been looking around, creeping on people when she was done grocery shopping, she would have never walked over to that bench, which means she would have never seen the person who she was supposed to preach to earlier. So every weird instinct that you have that you should talk to somebody is the Holy Spirit operating through you in some capacity. Wow.
Have
that
you
was so
ever
long.
been out in the ministry?
Have you ever performed a task or a job? I feel like we saw this guy's little segment, right? Yes. Okay, so we saw this last week, but we'll watch the best part, which is, if you haven't seen it, you're in for, you might say, a ride.
This is it.
They're serving where the need is greater.
Hold
There's
on.
less witnesses. Oh, they made it through the puddle. Where was this asshole when that lady's husband was killed? What was he doing? Just fucking hanging out by a puddle? These angels are sus.
In the video, did you notice?
No! Not noticing! Okay. Now I'm worried that I scrubbed through this same thing a couple weeks ago, so we might jump to the next one. Hey! There's my face. Ooh. He's got so many good poses. I'm going to take some screenshots of these. I do apologize. Hey! I like this one.
Now what?
Now what?
What do you do? Here is a list of questions, young
Oh,
sisters.
this guy might be a little joker. Let's hear what he's talking about. He seems like he's just getting real animated. I mean, every facial expression is a painting. Oh my god, it is a fucking long talk. Let's look.
Cultivate humility. Jehovah cannot use us if we're not humble, and Jehovah's organization cannot use us. Imagine if you were building a kingdom hall
Wasn't that
and you
amazing?
ignored the direction of how to build it because we thought we knew better.
Whoa, sassy! Did you see that? We thought we knew better.
Cultivate humility. Jehovah cannot use us if we're not humble, and
Oh.
Jehovah's organization cannot use us. Imagine if you were building a kingdom hall and you ignored the direction of how to build it because we thought we knew better.
Jehovah can't use us if we're not humble, if we're not subservient. That's all he means. Doesn't mean keeping like a perspective of your own importance and not being self-obsessed. It's like, just shut up, shovel the coal, be malleable, be clay in
have a
Jehovah's
lopsided
hands.
Kingdom Hall.
Lopsided Kingdom
So
Hall.
when direction is given by Jehovah's organization, listen, accept it, and apply it. In the preaching activity, people are going to know if you are proud or humble. Humility is going to draw ones to Jehovah's organization just like the smell of food draws us to a meal.
Ugh.
And number 5, cultivate modesty. So you're an example to others.
Ooh.
We show we're
I had never
modest.
thought about this, but they say cultivate a ton. That's just free the word cults for my YouTube poops. So I mean, this was valuable digging for spiritual cringe for me.
When we do not demand our own rights.
Oh my God. I still have bad motion sickness. It just doesn't come up as often because I'm not constantly in strangers' cars and they're the ones driving anymore. But yeah, I got really bad motion sicknesses and so many Saturdays were ruined by legitimately getting motion sick.
People can watch us and tell if we're modest by our actions and by our dress and groomings.
So let's look at this guy's actions.
Well, there you have
think
it,
this is a
young
modest
ones.
guy? This is a
5
humble
things
person?
you can work on right now to
This is why they affect the patronizing tone, by the way, is because they think that it appears modest. They think that like being like, I just wanted to show you something from God's word. Like that to them sounds, they think that's what modesty is. But it's still just telling somebody what to do with a really infantilizing, neggy tone. Blah.
prepare for a life in the full-time service. Point 2, while all 5...
I think that was culty enough to get the gist. Ooh boy, childhood indoctrination.
I was raised by my mother in a small village. At a very young age, my mother taught me how to read and write. She used various charts and publications. After the meetings, my mother would share what she enjoyed at the meetings and would...
Wow. This reminds me of a story I heard once. It was so beautiful. Once there was this Mormon guy, and when he was just a little kid, his parents read him from the Book of Mormon, and they showed him the little Mormon cartoons. He learned to read, reading kids' books that the Mormons wrote. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you just love to hear that? Or is this the kind of bullshit story that any religion could say? By the way, I'm going to just post in the chat the link to the Sunday service YouTube channel, because this stream is probably going to be unlisted after it airs here, if you want to watch it later.
So, it was important for me to listen carefully at the meetings and
Humble
take
people
notes
work for
because
free and don't
I
ask
also
questions.
had to tell her what I'd enjoyed. As I was getting a better understanding of what I was reading, that stirred in me a desire to comment and prepare to comment at the meetings in my own words. Commenting at the meetings made me feel part of the congregation and made me enjoy the meetings even more.
Wow.
Also, that made me want to do more for Jehovah.
You could just, like, if you interview literally any person who was raised as a witness with, like, a good family, they could tell you this exact same thing word for word, because it's what you're supposed to say. It's the only thing that you're supposed to say. So, on the matter of whether or not the Watchtower stories are made up, I don't think so. I think they just... people know how to massage their stories to make it fit in with Watchtower's narrative, and then Watchtower's gonna massage it even more like clay in Jehovah's hands. Fooled by Jehovah.
Like most teenagers, I enjoy texting.
Like most teenagers, my voice was
I
annoying.
learned that I can show personal interest better by having face-to-face conversations.
Yep.
As I worked on doing that, my communication skills improved.
I can tell because of what a natural speaker you are. So
In
many
addition,
conventionally
the
attractive
training
people
in our
featured in this year's convention.
organization helped me to find a job to support pioneering.
All the men are just like
When I was asked to
dumpy
be a tutor for a
whatevers,
couple's
except
son-
for fictional, literal God among men, whoever that guy was, fictional granola liberal. And then all the women are like so
I
just
told them
conventionally
that I hadn't
pretty.
taken any courses for it, but that we were taught how to teach well at the weekly meetings of Jehovah's Witnesses.
I have been taught to teach well at the
They
weekly
said,
meetings of
"Oh,
Jehovah's
We really
Witnesses.
like the way you talk.
Here's a video from my
Let's
phone.
start tutoring our son tomorrow."
Hard to say no to a sales
I
pitch
come
like
from
that.
Germany. I was born in Coburg. I went to the meetings.
What?
I went in the
Two
ministry.
beautiful witness women.
But my heart wasn't there. Since I
I
was
don't know
so
if I could
focused
pull
on
off
my
the
own
fully
feelings,
round glasses. What do you think, chat? I noticed X-Cult Baby insisted on calling my glasses serial killer glasses.
It was
Once
hard for
again,
me
I
to
don't
show
appreciate,
personal interest
don't appreciate
in others.
that. But also, I
My
don't know.
roommate
I don't
often took me
know.
along in her studies.
If these glasses are for serial killers, then why was I just able to get it at a normal glasses website?
She cried together with them when they cried. She was more than just a
Another-
Bible teacher to them.
Just
She was
so
really
pretty
a friend.
person.
I learned to love people more. As a result of a more intense relationship with Jehovah and a deeper love for people in the ministry.
An intense relationship with Jehovah. What does that look like, by the way? My relationship with Jehovah is pretty intense. We get up to some stuff. And Jehovah is up for anything.
The ministry brings me more joy.
Which only ever means butt stuff, by the way. When people are like, oh, they're up for anything. Yeah. Oh, you mean the one weird thing? I don't know why I said it was weird.
Young brothers, it's your
Young Brothers. That was a quintessential Young Brothers. I do just want to hear that one more time before I vigorously move on from this talk.
Well, young brothers, it's your turn. How can you train your
Oh, so okay, so that was apparently from, or it was intended for sisters. I hope
self
not
to
all
be
the
an
guys in this are
effective
total
minister?
goofuses.
First, cultivate discernment and thinking ability. Now, what does that mean? It means that you can look at a situation and immediately determine if it's something you should
I had
or
a
should
gummy a
not
little
do.
bit ago.
One way to
Half.
develop thinking ability is identify principles.
Why am I not fast forwarding? What happened? I got drawn into the fucking hypnosis. The Necronomicon pages took over me. Okay.
I grew up in a family of farmers.
No.
My parents trained us to do household chores.
Great. What? So?
When I
So
worked
what?
secularly, there was a trap in earning a lot of money and becoming materialistic.
The J-Dub
But the training our parents gave us...
Oh, yes. Everybody that I dated in the organization seems to just, like, nobody ever talked about this. We just all knew about this. I love this name. Anyone here of the J-Dub Rub? Christina. Yeah. I want to read you something because I think you'll like it. Like right now? Yeah. So user Ramrod referred to, this was their comment. Anyone hear of the J-Dub rub, aka dry hump? You know what the J-Dub rub? So ready for dry hump.
Is that a new JW like dance that they do at weddings?
The J-Dub rub, yeah, they do like the Cleveland Shuffle, the Cha-Cha Slide, and the J-Dub rub. You should say hi. People are loving you so much.
Oh.
And they're saying that we're cute, and I mean, what are we to say? What are we to do about this?
Thank you. That's all I can say.
Listen, we're just here. We just live here, and we just woke up like this.
Yeah.
Bye, hi.
When we were kids, helped me to
They really
keep my
do.
life simple. So at work, when I
was at like yeah, I told Christina about this. I was out somewhere and the fucking Cha-Cha Slide came on.
I think you were at the bar.
Yeah, I was at a bar and the Cha-Cha Slide came on. I was like, I'm triggered. Literally, the Jehovah's Witness theme song just came on. The Cha-Cha Slide.
was offered overtime for higher salary, I didn't.
We did not.
accept it,
We did not.
even if it
confess
meant
our
lower salary.
J-Dub rubs.
An Awake article also helped me a lot.
And this is these, and no shade, but these are the fellas. They're just like every woman that they trot out here on camera looks like they could be an H&M model. And no shade to this guy, but he's just, you know, I'd say these look like normies to me. He's cute. I like his glasses.
And it helped me to focus on my pioneering.
Not any wedding
I
I've
wanted
been
be
to
able
in a
devote
while.
everything I had to Jehovah's service. But there were times when I wanted to go to university and see how far I could go in this world. Instead of
And I'm
letting
sure that's how he thought of it. How far can I go in this world?
my feelings dictate what I should do, I decided to think things through. I thought of Paul's example. He had received education, and he had
The Andrew
riches,
Dictator.
fame, and position.
It's like a quadruple
However,
entendre.
He said they were rubbish to him. If that was the case, I thought whatever I would
They
be
said
gaining
they were
would be
rubbish.
even more worthless.
If you say the word
I
rubbish
chose
with an
to
American
work
accent,
part-time
you should
as
be
a
put
water meter
into
reader.
like mandatory,
I had dedicated
like
myself-
citizen training or something. I don't like it when Americans try and use British slang. It sounds so tacky. Like, it's just so bloody ridiculous. Jordan Peterson does that. I hate it. He's like, oh, it's just bloody ridiculous. And it's like, you are a Canadian Kermit. You cannot say that word. That's not for you in your accent that you have, sir.
To Jehovah, so I wanted to give him back my all. I was able to spend more time in Jehovah's service.
No, that I think he is a cutie. I'll give it up for him.
When I was young, I used to dream of becoming someone
I'm going to
important.
stop ranking the
I
attractiveness
used to think,
of random cult
when I turn
victims,
18,
and probably should
I
have
will
never
be appointed
started.
as a ministerial servant. But when the time came, I wasn't appointed as a ministerial servant. I
It's
was
not
really
regular
disappointed.
for Americans,
Then,
though.
My
We don't
mom
call it a
encouraged me to
rubbish
think
bin.
about Moses' example. He thought he had all the qualities and skills.
I thought he
to
said he
lead
was
the nation of
treated like
Israel.
rubbish.
But Jehovah knew that he wasn't quite ready.
No, I do not.
And he
I
hadn't
do not.
cultivated humility.
I do like his
stopped
voice,
focusing
apparently.
on myself.
Oh, yeah. No.
And started
That's what I'm saying. Like, British people, they've got British slang. It's like, sometimes I'll hear, like, a British, like, YouTuber or streamer try and throw out a y'all. And it just sounds gross. It sounds, I don't know. It's just like eating at a Canadian McDonald's. Where it's like, I guess it's kind of the same, but it's just a little bit wrong.
to think about others, paying attention to what they needed. I was determined to
Oh, yeah. I
accept
do like him
whatever
as more
work
than a
I was
friend.
assigned to do in the
But
congregation.
platonically, I have no interest in him.
And this has helped me to work well with the brothers and to serve unitedly and with joy.
Unitedly and with joy. Oh, brother. All right, we're nearing the end of this system of things. Oh, we get a follow-up on our friends. Good. Okay, Arde. I like him. Now, here's what I'll say. He's a snappy-ass dresser. I wish that I was that skinny and bony and could wear suits that were that. It just always sounds like you're trying so hard. Sorry, Governor. No, I know. You're right. Okay, so you're totally right. Like, in this bothered me, like, in The Force Awakens, Rey says, like, that one's garbage. And I was like, garbage? British people don't say garbage. But I guess it also would have been weird if she was like, that one's rubbish. It's like, oh, she knows space British slang? Weird. Hey, Tad, I don't know the conversion rates, but I appreciate the super chat. I have no idea what this is. Were we told to notice something? Oh my god, it's still this guy. He must be like the circuit overseer.
At Isaiah 6 and verse 8.
Bottle of water.
Isaiah 6:8 says, when I heard the voice of Jehovah saying, whom shall I send and who will go?
Will you just get to the point, sir?
Have they experienced?
Have they experienced? We have part of the puzzle.
Boy, the best life possible. In the following video, note what happened to the young ones we saw previously, what opportunities did they pursue, and what rewards have they experienced.
Just all the cuties.
When I was 23 years old, I started pioneering. Then I was invited to SKE, and I was assigned to go to Albania as a missionary.
I became a pioneer. Now I'm a translator
Her
in the remote
glasses are
translation
so
office.
cool. How much you get paid at that job, by the way?
I married a brother who had similar spiritual goals as me.
I married a brother.
We pioneered together for 2 years, and then we got the wonderful opportunity to serve as construction servants.
I pioneered for about 2.
We did unpaid, mandatory 70 hours a month, and then we got the opportunity to do hard manual construction labor, also for free. That was our reward for doing another thing that's not fun. That's like how you keep continuity through the timelines. You just always have the same glasses.
2 years. Then I was invited to Bethel, and I serve in the bindery.
Bindery.
I started pioneering. Then I received an invitation to attend SKE. I am currently serving.
Maybe this is weird, but I'll just say as a matter of principle, I don't think I've thrown out any witness books. Copy it. Like, if we had more than one, yes. But it just feels wrong to throw away a book, even if it's a book I hate. I don't know.
Here in the service department in the Philippines branch.
Philippines.
I never thought
emphasis
that
on
Jehovah would
peens,
use me
big
in
time.
such a manner.
Oh, she's so pretty.
No.
And then you got this guy.
Never.
Wait, what? I'm assuming it's like, do you regret your decision? The thing that they do at the end of every interview.
Years. Then I was invited to Bethel, and I served.
Oh, good question. What are construction servants? Construction servants are like glorified taskmasters. So you work on construction projects, and it depends on what your job is. Like, if you work for the LDC, you might be you're probably going to be in more of an administrative role than actually doing on the ground dirty work, I think, depending on your skill levels. But like, the local design and construction committee is their building thing. And so like, our LDC overseer lived in the apartment at the assembly hall. Like, this is our actual like LDC person, was sent from the branch. And so him and his wife must have gotten a stipend from Watchtower. But it was a huge job. I mean, they oversaw like the entire state of Ohio basically, and maybe a little bit outside of it. And so they just like, they're overseeing and organizing every construction project. I don't think that that's necessarily what all construction servants do, but it's basically like, yeah, you're doing either paperwork, scheduling, bookkeeping, calling and following up, making sure volunteers are going to show up to the project. It's all very tedious.
Serve in the bindery.
I started pioneering. Then I received an invitation to attend SKE. I am currently serving here in the service department.
School for Kinky Evangelizers during Pride Month.
I never thought that Jehovah would use me in such a manner.
No.
Never. I never would have expected that.
I never imagined this.
Why? Why did you never imagine it? It's one of like the 3 things that you're allowed to do. Like every year, all of these people that they're interviewing were raised in the organization. So presumably every single year of their life, they went to multiple assemblies and a convention, and they heard in the publications 1,000 million examples of people who did exactly this. Like why? And you're not allowed to do a whole lot of other stuff. So why did you never expect that this could possibly happen to you? I don't get it. Especially after they signed up to do it. Then it seems like you would expect it. Imposter syndrome, maybe. I don't know.
Public talk had a profound effect on me. The speaker said, "You have already dedicated your life to
Spirit and ministry.
Are you now living up to your dedication? I can still give him something. I'll apply for SKE."
At times, I feel so insignificant and inadequate. However, I realize that Jehovah makes anyone who is willing to be used by him successful.
With any form of service, our being qualified comes from God.
I learned that if Jehovah
Then this guy is
gives us
just
an
frowning
assignment,
all the time.
He will also give us the skills and training we need to be successful in the assignment.
Although I didn't have the experience needed, Jehovah still
It was
saw
impossible- it was
something in me
impossible
and
to see
gave me
this coming.
assignment. I thank Jehovah from the bottom of my heart and view this assignment as a real blessing.
I view this assignment as a real blessing. Just spoken from the heart, like a real
Jehovah
human.
has been helping us all along. It's like he's holding our hand tightly, saying, "Don't worry, I'm right here with you."
Because we're just little babies. We're just
I
little
get to
babies,
spend
and we just
8
need
hours
Jehovah to hold
each
our
day
hand.
Serving Jehovah with like-minded friends who love talking about him. It's great.
I can't think of words
It's
to describe
great.
my deep gratitude to Jehovah.
My deep
Jehovah has blessed me
gratitude to
so much.
Jehovah.
He has drawn me to his family. He made me his friend.
What?
He has used me in ways
I
I've
need to
never
listen to that
imagined
episode.
before. Jehovah has made
I
me
need to
see
get
his
them on
hand
the show.
even more as I allow him to use me.
Yes, good call. What a nasty phrase. Be used by Jehovah. Glorifying the idea of being used and letting other people use you. That's a virtue. Christina made a problematic joke. No, not really. It's just like, this is why no matter how long you were in, how much you think you believe what your rank was, there's so much to deconstruct. Like, there's so many little things that are ingrained in you, and just the whole idea that you condition yourself and let others condition you into thinking that being used by people is good. Not great. I think it's probably bad for your brain. And to our earlier point about Andrew Tate types, you can see how some guys would really want to not give up that particular part of the belief system. I'd still like to be able to treat women like shit, so...
I wake up in the morning and start
can I
my day
maintain
with
my
Jehovah
values?
by preparing for the ministry. Then I go out with my service partners. We talk about Jehovah. We think about how we can help others come closer to Jehovah. Back home, I talk to my roommate about our ministry that day. Then I take time for
Does
Jehovah.
the roommate related? They have like the
I feel
same
I'm
glasses and
spending every
hairstyle.
second
What are we
of
doing?
Every day with Jehovah. And that alone is an enormous
Oh
gift
man,
for
the
me.
girl on the right here. Hang on. Yeah, she looks like every white girl that I had a crush on in the organization.
And that
Young brothers.
This guy's fucking face. All right, I think we did it, folks.
Blessing.
We did it. We dug and digged and dooged for spiritual cringe. Let it never be said that we did not dig for spiritual cringe. We did it, and we've been going for 2 hours. I think we gotta wrap it up. What a good time. Unless we wanted to read, but I don't know. I might give it a minute. I'm thinking about pushing back the release date of the book just to give myself more like... I underestimated the emotional runway that you need, like the timing of everything. Like, it's just harder to spend a lot of time mentally in that space. I mean, so I don't know, like that's on my mind. I've got a video that's coming along nicely, but I'm going to release that that Jeffrey Jackson edit probably I guess tomorrow. And then there should be a video essay coming. And I've got so much stuff filmed that I just haven't edited. I know last week I was talking about a video about the Theocratic Ministry School and why it's bad and it doesn't make you a good speaker. And so that's filmed. I just gotta edit it. I got another thing that friend of the channel edited for me, and I've been too lazy to just throw it on the channel. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Pretty good. Just gotta reset my brain a little bit. Gotta chill out a little bit. But this was super fun. Thank you so much for joining me. We had like 190 to 200 watching almost the whole time. That was so great. If you haven't subscribed to the Sunday service feed, that is where the archives live by and large. And I'm going to start uploading older streams that no longer exist on this channel. There's a couple that are really funny. And by the way, that Andrew Gold guy has a much bigger following now than when he did when I debated him. I think it might be interesting to release that. Just, I don't know. Well, I've been thinking about the ramifications of putting that up. Seems like I don't know what the best case scenario is for releasing that. Thanks, folks. Thank you for all of that. And I guess, you know what I'll do? Because I decided to be a wuss and not read from the book, I'll play the trailer, the new trailer on our way out. Thank you for joining me on the stream.
Do you enjoy a good story? If so, you're in for a special treat.
For more than 100 years, Jehovah's Witnesses have proclaimed the Bible's message that God's kingdom will rid the world of wickedness.
Undoubtedly, before the end, Satan's efforts to promote wickedness will intensify.
And of course, Satan is a god of intimidation.
That the reign of sin and death will soon be overthrown by Messiah's kingdom.
If a man's offering is a lamb, it shall be a female without blemish. He shall lay his hand upon its head, slaughter it, empty its blood on the base of the altar, and he shall be forgiven.
Are you ready? Are you ready to be glad over her destruction?
I mean, how sad it would be if we shaped and imitated ourselves after the world, and when Satan picked us up, we fit right in with his machine and organization.
This is the price of our rage.
do you think are Satan's primary targets? We are.